Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful, rainy, overcast day here, and I'm excited to be here. I'm Megan with the Academy of Logic and Light, and we've got Julie with us today, and I did it the right way.
The only option, right?
Yay! First time. And Elle, our astrologer, as well, is um unavailable. So we're sending all of the good vibes to her so that she can get home and safe and all
Yeah.
of the things. But we're so excited for anyone who wants to stick with us. It's going to be Julie and I going through our slides today, talking about Saturn. And we're super excited. This is Astrology and Coffee. I don't have either, but I do have water and an energy drink. So I
Basically the
am
same.
ready to go. um, anyway, we're talking all about Saturn. This is our second part on Saturn. So if you're interested, you can go back to the first part as well. Today, we're going to be discussing the houses and the aspects of Saturn and the other planets. Saturn's my favorite planet. I even have like a tattoo of Saturn. So anyway, it's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a little chaotic, and yeah, I'm gonna
Just
go
how
ahead
we
and
like
roll.
it.
Yeah, you know, normal's boring. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll a little intro, and I guess we'll see you on the other side. Well, first let me tell you about the Academy of Logic and Light. I should still do what I usually do, I guess. So the Academy of Logic and Light is a educational platform. We're here to kind of help uplift the community, share with each other, and have teachers, people who want to share their knowledge, break down some barriers, and just get the knowledge out there and available to people. Um, we have community events every third Sunday. So our next event is on the 19th. We're super excited. Get together. We're going to have like a big potluck and talk a little bit about gratitude and how it can help us in our practices. So I really like that. And yeah, so we have that going on. We have classes. We have lots of classes that we're developing, and hopefully big things coming in the new year, especially. And yeah, so we got lots of fun things going on with the Academy. If you're interested, you can find links down below to more things. Also, if you like this video, if you like the astrology classes, if you like what we're doing, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can like this video, and you can also share it with anybody. Helps us grow as well. And yeah, anyway, lots of stuff with the Academy. I'm probably forgetting something, but we'll roll our intro and talk more on the other side.
Woo. Good morning.
Yay.
First of all, what sign and what house is your Saturn in?
Mm, that is a great question. I think my sign is sorry, I'm trying to pull up my chart right now.
Yeah,
It's
I was
in
like,
Aquarius, which is my 11th house. So
okay, nice. Seems
yay.
like a good one. I'm a fourth house, Scorpio, which just sounds scary. Just sounds intimidating.
Fair.
But I think it was Danny that was telling me that if Saturn and Jupiter in the same sign, then it's lucky.
Mm. Is yours then?
No, Scorpio
No.
is my only sign in the chart like that, and it's Scorpio Saturn. Yeah, it just sounds so scary.
Yeah. My Jupiter is like opposing my Saturn, which I think helps lessen Saturn a little bit,
Mm.
but also lessens Jupiter a little bit. So
Yeah,
take some, win some, you lose
yeah,
some.
we do the best we can. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
cool. I'm excited.
woo woo. All right, so we're getting into Saturn, and because Elle isn't here like right now, she might like tune in every now and then, but we are going to be doing an astrology after dark on November 17th. So we'll be covering maybe a little bit on Saturn just to get Elle's input and make up for a little bit of what's today, because y'all don't want to hear me read slides all day long. I'm like going through the beginning. So we're going through the houses today. We're going through the aspects. And yeah, so y'all remember, quick cheat sheet. The planet is the what, the sign is the how, the house is the where, and the aspects are the dynamics. Blue lines are easier, red lines are a little challenging. This is where it's really important to pay attention to aspects in all of the charts. Oh, I can make this bigger to read better. Cool. All right, first house is ruled by Aries and Mars. It's the house of self. You are persistent. You have organizing ability. You are capable of self-discipline. You are patient and a bit shy. Feel nervous underneath, which you keep under tight self-control, and you want your talents and work to be recognized. Good points are industrious, good powers of endurance, and a keen sense of responsibility. Challenging points are stubborn and set in ways, afraid of new beginnings, and secretive. Again, if you guys haven't pulled your charts, we recommend astro.com. It's the easiest way to see all the good stuff. So write your Saturn in the sign and in the house in the comments, and tell us where you're watching from.
Yeah. And if you're on our Facebook group, Julie made an awesome infographic that's available there that has kind of the quick reference guide for like your houses and those kinds of things, so that you can, when we're talking about first house or an aspect, things like that, it's got a quick reference and cheat sheet. So our group is linked down below. You can join. And if you're already there, it should be a pinned comment in our group kind of towards the top in the announcements.
Yeah. For the night, it's a quick one. It's nice, but you can see the whole thing on your phone, which is nice.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Second house ruled by Taurus and Venus, and it's the house of possessions. The description is you are ambitious about acquiring material comfort and tend to make long-range financial plans. You are thrifty and shrewd, cautious about your investments. Blue chip stocks are more your style than get rich quick schemes. Money doesn't come in quickly, gain is slow and steady, and you must put in considerable effort. Good points are practical, persevering, hardworking. Challenging points are stingy, may encounter delays and obstacles in acquiring money.
Well, and one thing that I think about with Saturn itself is so much of it is a lesson, right? Saturn's kind of like our teacher, but also kind of where our life is structured. And so if you're like a second house Saturn and you keep getting caught up in MLMs and get what quick rich schemes, like, and they just never work out for you, it's because like that's kind of the lesson you need to learn is like, oh, I have to really readjust to like make my money. I have to work hard for it. Like some people, money does just come easy to them. And some people like really have to like have an established routine for that money to come in. And I think that, that's kind of finding out where your Saturn is kind of helps you learn what that lesson is. And so with the houses, it's kind of telling you where the theme and those kinds of things of the lessons are. So like the challenging points are things that maybe you personally need to work on, where the good points also are how those challenging points can be, seen from a more evolved view. Like once you kind of get past the stinginess to being like, oh, I'm not stingy with money, but I do need to be practical about it. So
Yeah.
anyway, sorry,
I
just
think
my
it
2 cents.
definitely helps you like overcome the obstacles a little easier once you know what the obstacle is. It's not just
Yeah.
because otherwise you fall in that victim mentality of like, oh my God, I'm always trying to start a business. Well, bitch, get off the MLMs and try a real one or something. But like, realize what the lesson is so that you can move forward and meet it with compassion and grace. However else you deal with challenges. Sometimes mine isn't quite as gracefully.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's not graceful until you kind of like learn that it is your challenge, right? Like it's not graceful. I keep making the same mistake. And it's like, well, I guess I just need to open my eyes and like move past an MLM and start doing my own thing.
Yeah, there's better options.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Thanks
Okay,
for letting
is
me
my
pipe in.
oh, my Saturn's in the third house.
Oh,
Oh, I
okay.
was doing my Uranus. I've already
Mm.
started working on the Uranus list. So Uranus is in fourth house.
Yay.
Saturn, Scorpio, third house.
Ooh. Well,
Yeah,
let's
let's
find
find
out.
out. Third house, ruled by Gemini and Mercury, house of communications. You have practical and rather serious mind. You want to learn things so you can put them to use. You have good powers of observation and prefer to deal in facts rather than theories. You sometimes procrastinate because you wait to make the right decisions. You may encounter difficulties or obstacles in getting education. Ugh. It's just a 20-year long associate's degree. It's fine.
Perfect.
Good points are contemplative, persevering, and conscientious. Challenging points, prone to pessimism, estrangement from relatives. Well, could be spot on.
Yeah. Wait for our
Yeah.
podcast to come out that we just recorded.
Oh my God, I know. And
To
I'm
find
wearing the
out all the
same thing
tea.
just in case. They're just pajamas.
Well, and so I like the 3rd house kind of relates to rituals for me. And so, like, having that Saturn in the 3rd house, creates that perseverance, And that's kind of the lesson is, like, if you wanna be spontaneous, it's a lot harder, You need to, anyway, have those rituals
Yeah.
and the things that go through.
Yeah, I'm working on yeah, rituals are slowly becoming like more of my routine,
Yeah,
let's say.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's just a magical routine.
Yeah. Good morning, Tyler.
Good morning, Tyler. I
It's
think
from
this is
Santa Cruz.
Sammy.
I think so too. Most of the time, I'm like, if it's Facebook user, I think it's either Sammy or Danny.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, fourth house. Fourth house is ruled by Cancer and the Moon. House of home, house of early and latter parts of life. Description: you are concerned about and devoted to your family. In childhood, you may have assumed responsibility at an early age. Saturn in the fourth house sometimes indicates an early loss of a father. You'll look after those who cared for you as a child when they are old. You plan carefully for security in your old age and are likely to spend your last years alone and independent. Good points are gained through real estate. Challenging points are difficulty expressing feelings to family members.
yay.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, that's
Yeah,
heavy.
I know.
You kind of want like Cancer to be like, that cushiony, all like beautiful, lovey, and that one was like, I guess that's
Yeah,
what Saturn is, right? Takes that
right.
cushy and makes it a lesson.
Yeah, it's super interesting for sure. I like this is like my roots house, right? Is the word I associate with it. And so, the way that Saturn interacts with where we come from and like again, the difficulty of expressing our feelings to family members, I see so much as like that, your root, but like how you relate to it. Anyway, I like
Yeah.
putting all of these like puzzle pieces together is how I do astrology is I'm just like,
It's
okay,
so true,
learn
though.
a little bit about this and a little bit about this and then be like, okay, how do those things interact?
Yeah, it's so true. And I think that's part of why I love it so much. I fucking love puzzles.
Mhm.
Fifth house. That's the one house like I'll never forget. I'm like, oh, it's fifth house Leo. I'm still like having trouble like remembering where some of them are at, but we'll get there. Fifth house Leo, always ruled by the sun, house of creativity and sex. Because you are disciplined and take life seriously, you often don't allow yourself to relax and have fun. You have strong feelings about those you love, but you also need their respect. You may be stern with children. Your period of unhappiness have taught you a lesson in life. Good points are conscious of duty and responsibility to loved ones. Challenging points of fear of giving too much of yourself in love.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's always so hard for like anybody with a Leo place. So it's just like so much love to give. It's like a lot sometimes.
Yes. It's sometimes overwhelming amounts of love.
Yeah. Like, I'm a Capricorn. I need you to slow down. But I
Like,
am a Leo rising. So when I'm drunk, I want that love too.
perfect. The perfect combination.
Yeah.
I can read
They're
this one
like,
if you want.
yeah, sure, go for it.
I'm like, we could do every other one, and that way you're not
Yeah, that's
talking the whole
amazing.
time.
I'll have a coffee break.
Yeah. So, 6th house is Virgo, ruled by Mercury, the house of service and health. Description, oh, I don't need to read description. You tend to be successful in work and get along well with associates. You are loyal and dependable, and Jupiter usually brings monetary reward. You love good food and tend to gain weight. Work brings opportunity for travel and expansion. Challenging points, health problems due to overindulgence.
That is like such a specific one. And for Virgo, I thought that was kind of interesting too, right? Because I think almost all the Virgos I know are like pretty slender people. I'm like
Mhm.
trying to like go through like all the Virgos I know. So it's like kind of interesting that
Yeah,
this
well,
is their challenge.
and the 6th house, I mean, is kind of like your like illnesses, injury, physical health, as well as like work and your fitness, like those kinds of things. And so I guess I could really see where that challenging point is, that if your like lesson is to learn that you need to really focus on your fitness, I could see it being really easy to like the opposite of that is overindulging, which is like what, a ton of our health problems in the United States is because of obesity. And so the fact that that house of physical health, having Saturn in there would really create kind of that,
Yeah.
um, whatever it's called. Anyway,
Issue. That issue.
that
I'm like
challenge.
looking
Yeah.
through the charts now.
You're good. Sorry.
Um,
That's what I have. I'm
this
like,
one's yours? No, yours is 9.
sorry, I can
11.
read this one too. Yeah.
You're good.
Okay, 7th house. So, 7th house is Libra, ruled by Venus, the house of marriage and partnerships. You are cautious about marriage and partnerships. You may delay getting involved until you are sure. You often marry a widow or widower or someone older than yourself. If there are no opposing influences in your chart, you benefit monetarily or socially through your marriage. Good points takes commitment to another person seriously, and challenges are possible legal problems and a setback because of them. Now I'm like, oops.
Yeah, I'm like looking through everyone's charts. So
Yes.
far, I don't have anyone the last few, which I think is so interesting.
Yeah,
All
that's
my
what I'm
friends
like,
seem to have it in the same.
really interesting.
Oh, here's a friend. Oh, and this is one that I
Yeah.
have. I read this chart before with the 7th house, Saturn, and in Virgo.
Mm.
Yeah, this is my best friend's husband.
Oh.
One of my best friend's husbands.
Yeah.
Well, not that she has multiple husbands. I just have multiple best friends. I was like, wait, I should
You have multiple best friends, that's why.
not. She could have multiple husbands. I don't know. It's 2023. We can do whatever we want. I don't know.
Yes. Absolutely.
7th
Um,
house.
yeah, this is so interesting because the 7th house, like ruling over relationships, but it's so interesting how specific it is about like marrying a widow or a widower. Um, but I guess like I mean, because I guess it's the 8th house that is like other people's money. So
Yeah.
anyway, very
Wait, which one's
interesting.
the 8th house ruled by again? That's Scorpio, right?
Um, yeah, I personally don't associate the signs to the
Okay.
houses. They have separate meanings to me, but
Okay.
the themes aren't completely off. It's a more modern look is the anyway, okay. Do you wanna read the 8th? I'm like, "Alright."
Yes.
I'm like, "It's
8th
fine.
house.
However you do it."
8th house ruled by Scorpio and Pluto. House of death and regeneration, also house of legacies. You take responsibility for others and may become involved in their financial affairs. You are inclined to be somewhat inhibited sexually or to have difficulty expressing yourself emotionally in sex. Saturn in the 8th house usually indicates that you will live until a ripe old age. Bad news for some of you.
Sorry.
Sorry. Good points. You are careful about putting aside money to protect loved ones. Challenging points are difficulties over property matters or inheritance.
Hmm, that's so interesting.
It is interesting the challenging point of like inheritance when the good point was also putting aside money for inheritance. So that was just a
Yeah.
kind of an interesting one for sure.
Well, I feel like maybe the inheritance issue comes from, like, inheritance that you may receive, where it's like, you might be good at putting away money, but or maybe your family even was, but you're gonna fight
Oh
with your
yeah.
siblings over what to do with it.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yes.
Third house. Oh wow.
Um,
All my third house friends are like my family. That's so
interesting.
cute. Yeah, that is interesting.
That's what I'm like. Both my kids have, like, earlier houses, but my husband and I his is 10th and mine's 11th.
Oh wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Ninth house. Do you want me to read it?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Like,
Either way. Hmm.
okay, I'll do it. Ninth
Okay.
house, Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter, the house of mental exploration. You are thoughtful and contemplative and have a desire to learn. You delve seriously into questions of oh my goodness, philosophy, faith, or religion. Contacts with foreigners are beneficial in your life, especially with older people. Good points, idealistic principles. Challenging points, bad obstacles or limitations to receiving an education. Very interesting.
Very. I
I
also thought that was an interesting with the education. That's twice that we've seen Saturn with the education like struggle.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, Saturn is like the teacher, right? So it's so interesting that it would be like affecting the education so much. Anyway, I mean,
Yeah.
it makes sense that it rules over education, but also sucks that it's like opposing your education, right? You're like, no, you're
Yeah.
supposed to be teaching me the lesson. I don't want to have to work to learn.
I mean, if only. If only. Life would be so much easier if it wasn't so hard to learn.
Yeah. Oh,
That's funny.
I like I
I'm
was gonna
sorry.
say I really like that it talks about, like, your interest, into, like, religion and faith because that's kinda what that ninth house is to me is, like, the contextualizing of, like, God and, like, all that stuff, and so it's cool, like, that it's encouraging you to, like, dive in and find those things, so, anyway,
It
go on.
is, and also, like, Sagittarius is such, like, a little explorer, like, travel, and so it's cool that this is, like, mental exploration, so it's
Yeah.
a little different. But still
Yeah.
comes in with the foreigners and the older people, it's kinda funny.
Yeah.
But
Very.
maybe those are, like, lessons too, right? They're like, "We're giving you the lesson from someone that's already learned it."
Yeah. Oh, that's a great way
I'm
to
just
look at it.
speculating.
Yeah. No, I like that a lot.
10th house. You want me to do it?
Yeah.
10th house Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, the house of career. So this is the place where Saturn likes to be. You are self-reliant, ambitious, and likely to achieve success. You have stamina and perseverance to attain your ambition step by step. There is the possibility that you reach high position towards the end of your life, but that will be a lonely place. Good point. Self-discipline and responsible. Challenging point. Selfish, susceptible to discredit or disgrace. This feels like a very politician-y house.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'd be curious to see where politicians have their Saturn,
Yeah,
because this
that's
one feels like you worked really hard, you alienated everyone around you, you maybe used some people, and all your shit's coming out.
mhm. Well, and that's why I think of so much of, like, Capricorn as the CEO, and this also feels like it could kinda be especially that, like, in the '80s CEO of, like, has a family but doesn't talk to them, like, stereotype, right? And
Yeah.
so, I think of that too of, like, good for you, but, are you gonna are you gonna be the Scrooge about it, or are you going to, like, learn your lesson and be open and still, like, caring and all those things.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It does.
Oh,
A Scrooge is the perfect way to put that one because that is, yeah. He
yeah,
learned his lesson, but it just took like way too many tries.
exactly.
Had he just looked at his Saturn, he maybe could have done it in the first try.
Right. He would have known. And astrology could have changed his life.
Yeah, duh.
So the 11th house, Saturn in the 11th house, which is Aquarius ruled by Uranus. The description, you form a few true and lasting friendships rather than cultivate many superficial acquaintances. You have high aspirations. You must often cope with mundane delays and obstacles. The discipline you learn early in life brings freedom later on. Good points are determination to reach objectives. Challenging points is victimized by unscrupulous or selfish motives on the part of others. This is my house. And like reading that whole thing, I was like, wow, okay, thank you. Thanks for the validation on that.
It's
I
not my
love,
fault.
yeah. Well, the like when it was like uh you have to cope with mundane delays and obstacles. I was like, thank you. Every day of my life. This is so lame. Like, I want to be doing a million things right now.
Yeah, for real. That is the kind of a
But
frustrating one. I'm like, "Where's
yeah, but I
Allison?"
also like I know a lot of people who are like, "Oh, I wish I could be a kid again. I wish I could be a kid again." But for me, I'm like, I like being an adult. But here it says the discipline you learn early in life brings freedom later on. Because like I went through a lot of shit as, like, a kid and a teenager that I just never ever wanna have to do again, and because of that, I'm like, "No, being an adult is great. I'm in charge, I get to do what I want, like, I make my own decisions. I'm fine."
Yeah,
And so, that really spoke to me.
looking at one more
So
chart. I was trying to see if Elle's is in the 11th house, and that's why she has a flat tire today. Stop it, it is.
those
Oh,
mundane.
Elle. I'm so sorry, man. It is
Yeah.
in the 11th house and in Scorpio.
Mm. See, and my
That's
11th
tricky.
house is Aquarius because I'm Aries rising. And so it has this huge, because it already is like that friendship and all that stuff. The like victimized by unscrupulous or selfish motives on the part of others, like also rude.
Really rude.
Also
Really
part of
rude.
why I was like, "Oh, now that I've learned, I'm free now later in life." But
Oh, now I'll just know that every time that you and Elle are late for anything, I'm gonna be 11th house Saturn,
mhm.
and we can just blame it on that.
My mundane sleeping in.
12th house, Pisces, ruled by Neptune, house of secret sorrow and self undoing. You are reserved, somewhat solitary, or reclusive. You place limitations on yourself because of cautiousness of fear. You find yourself hard to share your feelings with others and may carry a secret sorry with you. Sorrow,
Mm.
maybe. It's probably sorrow, but good point. Successful when working alone in seclusion, challenging points, possibility of loneliness and isolation later in life.
The
That's
12th
sad.
house is always the hardest one for me because I just don't
Yeah.
quite anyway, which is silly. I have so many, like, things happening in it. I'm like, I should
Yeah,
figure it
12th
out.
house is tricky. Yeah, it is,
Yeah.
like, super psychic. It can be, like, heavy, but it can also be really, like, light, so it's just like it is a little that Pisces energy is so slippery. Could be anything.
Yeah.
It's hard to nail
Which
down, though.
right? Which is why I'm always like, "Yeah, that could totally be it."
That could be it.
You sounds great. But yeah, I think it's interesting that it talks about, like, loneliness and isolation.
Yeah. So make a point. Take some good friends to the end.
Yes. Okay. I'll read Saturn and the Sun. So in the good aspects, which are I'm not good at is it the conjunction?
The
and
blue
the
lines,
trine,
sextiles,
a
yeah,
sextile, yeah.
and the
So
quadrisextile. I don't want to embarrass myself. It's a really long word.
you're good.
Semisextile.
So the good aspects are the blue lines, and then the red lines are your more adverse aspects. Um, so the ability to perceive, good concentration, well organized are our good aspects. And then the adverse aspects indicates disappointment and obstacles. Subject must overcome hindrances and feelings of inadequacy. A conjunction gives seriousness and sense of purpose. This aspect is often found in the charts of self made men and women. Sorry, I'm like, let me look at where's Saturn? There you are. Nothing. My son's doing nothing with Saturn.
Nothing. I see it. I have a Q on mine, and I'm trying to figure out what the heck that meant again.
Oh, yeah. I'm not quite sure.
Quintile.
That's what I said.
Harmonious.
Okay.
Yeah, some of
Cool.
these words are hard.
Right. Do you want to read this one, or would you like me to read it
Yeah.
again?
Saturn and Moon. Good aspects are diplomatic, ambitious, conservative nature, patient, thoroughness in dealing with problems. Adverse aspects are shyness, lack of self-confidence, money problems, possible trouble in first marriage. I'm like, wait, maybe. Conjunction, thrifty, perfectionist. Though maybe too critical, this aspect brings stability to emotions. I have a semi-sextile. Creates opportunities out of difficult associations. Well, yeah. If we're going to talk about first marriages.
Yeah. Go ahead and just explain my life, I guess. That's what my moon, I don't know what the symbol means, so it's doing something, but it's green.
It's green? Okay, so that's probably a semi-sextile or a quinquex.
Mhm.
Yeah, that one. They're
Perfect.
both minors, but slightly challenging, or both. Could be if it's facing upwards, it's both good
It's
and bad. It's like what you make of it. That's what I have. And then if it's facing downwards, it's a little bit more challenging.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm learning. We'll definitely dive
Right.
way more deeper into aspects
aspects.
coming up, but
Perfect.
we're diving into it a little bit today.
Yes. All right. So Saturn and Mercury, good aspects are disciplined, well organized mind, good concentration, serious, and practical. Adverse is native, maybe rigged.
Rigid.
Oh, rigid.
Definitely rigged.
I'm like, this is rigged. It's fine.
I swear reading live is just always embarrassing. It doesn't matter how good you are.
Yeah. And then a strict disciplinarian, fearful of change, abrupt, blunt. A conjunction, the native is methodical and patient, may also be obstinate, good powers of endurance, prone to depression. Interesting.
Yeah, I have a square on that one.
I got a big old trine.
Oh, nice.
Yay.
I'm
positive
rigid and
aspect.
fearful of change and abrupt, and I'm definitely blunt. I'm fine with that.
But it's what we love about you, Julie.
Yeah, I was like, you can't really ever guess what I'm thinking. You're gonna know. Either my face will tell you or my words will.
Yeah.
And if not any of those, then my actions.
Yes.
Not subtle.
When I say it's what we love, it like I'm speaking of myself as the plural, I guess.
She's like, can't speak for everyone.
Yeah. Do you want to read this one?
Yeah, I have a square in this one, so this will be great.
Ooh.
Saturn and Venus, constructive influences in business partnerships, serious and faithful in love. Adverse aspects, disappointment or incompatibility in marriage and love relationships. Tendency towards solitary, lonely existence. Marriage may be delayed in early in life. It should have been delayed early in life. Conjunction, strong sense of duty, conservative in picking love partners, Feelings of affection sometimes sublimated or sacrificed for personal ambition.
Very interesting. I
I think
also
that's
have a
like fair.
square.
You
I
do?
also have a square, yeah, which it's so interesting because I don't necessarily feel like, a lot of those, adverse aspects. I mean, I definitely got married really early,
Yeah, me
and
too.
it's been great so far, it's only been 12 years, but it has been 12 years. So,
Yeah, that's longer than any of my relationships. You're doing great.
yeah,
That's like basically retirement age in Hollywood.
exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Listen.
You're doing great.
Thanks. Oh, no. We both
Sorry,
clicked.
we're both in charge here. You wanna read
Alright.
this one?
Yeah. Saturn and Jupiter, the good aspects. Patience and persistence. Breatheth breadth of vision. Sound financial judgment. The adverse is pessimistic, lack of inner satisfaction, obstacles in the way of success, financial miscalculation. Conjunction ambitious and single minded ability to achieve through hard work. Streak of discontentment.
Hmm.
Okay.
I have a semi-sextile in that one.
Okay. Yeah. I have, I think, a little
Financial
like
miscalculations really sums it up.
I know. I love that it's miscalculations because it's like not necessarily a bad decision. It was
No,
just
it's
like,
girl
"Oh,
math.
yeah, like, I'm good. I've got this." And then it's like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Fuck.
I guess I carried a 0."
The
And
math
I
wasn't mathing.
I just added a 0 on the end, and it's not quite adding up
Yeah,
correctly.
it's yeah, I can relate to that.
Yes.
Saturn.
Okay, I'll push it. Do you wanna
Okay,
read this
thank you.
one?
Yes. Saturn and Uranus. Good aspects. Willpower and initiative indicates administrative talents, inventive, efficient, resourceful. Adverse aspects is autocratic, arrogant personality, prone to anxiety and depression. Conjunction, great self reliance and determination. Indicates a masterful manner with others and original personality.
I love
I'm
it.
learning a lot about Uranus this week, so I'm like very excited to cover it next week. I actually didn't know jack shit about it, so
Surprise.
yeah, and it is. It's like kind of about the surprises that come in too.
Right? Well,
So
and
it's
I
kind of cool.
love yeah, there's some fun astrological stuff that was happening this weekend with Uranus, but
Oh, really? Oh man, I should have been paying more attention.
I I think that's yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Uranus, not Neptune, but anyway, it was a big weekend. It was funny that you sent me that, uh, the aliens TikTok.
Oh,
And
how I
I
get
was
my
like,
world
"Oh, how
news.
Uranus must be doing something."
I was like, I don't know what's going on in the world. Let me ask the aliens.
Yeah,
It's a
perfect.
better news source.
Yes. Also, I think that we skipped Mars,
Yeah,
so I'm
I
gonna
think
go
so too.
back.
I don't know how that happened.
There's
Oh,
Venus,
did I?
Mercury.
Maybe I
Did we
just don't have Mars, but I can pull it up real quick.
okay, sorry. Like, maybe I'm losing it.
No,
Maybe I
no.
missed it
Hold
when
on,
I
I've
made
got
the
the book right
slides.
here.
Okay.
Mars and Saturn. Good aspects: power of endurance, ability to succeed in spite of harsh circumstances, discipline, indomitable. Uh, Adverse aspects: vacillating energy, inner feeling of being pulled to and fro. That's so weird. I do remember writing fro.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'm
just
sure
on
it's
the Word document.
who knows? Yeah,
That's
or
what
maybe
happens when
I
you get high and you do slides. I was like, I got the information. I could be high for this. No, you can't. Ill-tempered, susceptible to energy. Conjunction, rebellious, turbulent personality, may indicate accident proneness. Native resents any opposition. Isn't Mars ruled by Aries, right?
yeah, Aries
Yeah.
rules.
Anytime I see prone to injury, I was like, an Aries must be involved. I swear.
That's so funny. Also,
It
like,
is.
I mean, I broke my hip when I was 24, so as the
You are the
strong
most Aries.
Aries
Yeah.
chart, I guess it makes sense.
Yeah. My Amanda, our in-house DJ, also an Aries, and I call her like the clumsiest ballerina. like graceful on her toes until she runs into a wall or trips over her own purse strap. It's fascinating to watch.
My
It's
favorite story is, like, we were in the bathroom, and someone was standing right behind the door with a drink, and Amanda opened the door into that person and spilled the drink all over, like and it was totally, like, not her fault, but it's just,
No, I've
like,
I've
the
watched this
funniest
happen
story.
all over the world for literally 10 years, and it's, like, not always her fault. It's literally shit just comes at her. It's the craziest shit. Or
Yeah.
it'll be a completely empty room. She's standing still, looking at me, and the one time she turns, there just happens to be a person, and it is, like, wild. I'm always like, I wanna just put a protective bubble around her.
Right.
And my mom is Aries,
Oh,
same. Yeah, exactly the
yeah.
same.
Okay,
Alright,
I'll
sorry
read
about
Saturn
missing Mars.
and Neptune. So the good aspects are careful,
Conscientious.
conscientious, thank you.
Yeah.
Nature, orderly, common sense, creative imagination to practical use. The adverse aspects, reclusive inclinations, suspicious, possibly paranoid nature. Life is marked by disappointment. Conjunction, hardworking and authoritative, an excellent aspect that combines idealism with practicality. Very interesting.
That is. I also found this one to be very interesting because obviously Neptune, planet of like dreaminess, like very like out there, flowy, and then to come in with Saturn and to see how they met in the middle was yeah, just interesting to me. I have a sextile in this one.
Yeah, well, and I love that I have the Q, whatever that was again.
Oh yeah, quintile.
Yeah. And
Maybe
so I
that's
feel
right.
like for me that I love that the dreaminess coming together with, like, the order of Saturn creates a positive aspect, right? Instead of, because I mean, even the adverse ones, it's like, "Oh, it's still pretty good," you know? I'm a little paranoid, but but hopefully I'm not disappointed in it all my life. But to be fair, the reality in my head is way better. So,
Yeah, I feel the same way.
oh, do you wanna read this one, Julie, or
Yeah. Yeah, I actually have this one in conjunction. Yeah, conjunction. Good aspect: self-discipline, capable of being deep concentration, self-confident, high-principled personality. Adverse aspects: unpredictability and obsessive personality, sometimes susceptible to unusual diseases. Yo, someone messaged me. I have to know if you have this in your chart. Do you have a mystery illness? I want to know what it is.
Yeah.
If you feel like sharing. Conjunction, inclined to be unpredictable. Native is able to deal well with disappointment. Well, this conjunction occurs every 92 years and is considered a generational influence.
Very
Yeah,
cool,
just sometimes we got to break those generational curses.
right?
It's literally in the bloodline.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy.
So fun, so fun. I really do. I can't wait till we cover more on Pluto as well because I'm very curious to hear more about what Elle's been putting together for this because there's like obviously not that much information in all the books because it's like a smaller planet, non-planet, depending on your perspective.
Yeah,
It definitely affects astrology, but
right?
that will be a very curious one.
Yeah, I agree.
Woo, we did it.
Yay.
Yeah, rainy Tuesday morning.
I know. A little bit
Nobody
of a
asked us
crazy
any
one, but
questions. Just kidding. We could try. Megan and I are both astrology students, so this is good for us
yes,
while
yeah.
we're waiting. So this week we did Saturn part 2. And then next week we'll be covering part 1 of Uranus or Uranus, however you want to say it. We can discuss that too.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Well, we'll start off the episode by
with the pronunciation.
a pronunciation guide.
Yeah. And we'll bring all of our inner elementary child inside to giggle.
Yes. Perfect.
Bring
So
bring your
we'll
favorite anus jokes. We got
maybe maybe I'll find a way to do like a Uranus like, tally, how many times we say it
Oh, that could be a fun
as we go.
game. I was like, "Can it be a drinking
1.
game?" And I'm like, "It's 9 in the morning, calm down."
Yeah.
But actually, I'll be post-surgery, so I could be down.
Perfect.
Might be a little loopy already, who knows? It's fine.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
We need a little bit more loopiness.
Yeah.
I know
So
that
for
Sam did
the
ask what the North
oh,
Node
sorry.
is. You're
Yeah,
good.
so North Node we will be covering soon, and that will be, it's your enlightenment, let's say. Do you
Yeah.
have a different version for what you guys I feel like you learn a little.
I kind of think of it just, like, as the journey you're taking in this life, like, the where you want to end up or what's kind of important in this life, and almost a life purpose is how I've seen the
It's
North
fun.
Node. Yeah.
What's yours in?
A Capricorn.
Oh, and mine's in Cancer, which I fucking hate.
See,
Have to do with those feelings.
yeah, if I were a more Pisces, I would hate that it's in Capricorn, but I'm a very Aries Pisces, and so I'm like,
Yeah,
"Hell yeah, like,
yeah.
make me the boss, I'll be it."
It's perfect. I enjoy your true note Capricorn.
Yeah, it's been, you know, it's been
A
so
journey.
interesting to learn about astrology now that I'm like, it's so much later in my life, and looking back at things that I've been drawn to, and, like, I've had a job since I was 14. And so, I just have, like, always been working and, like, doing something, which is, very not Pisces, and every time I'd read a horoscope, I'm like, "Okay, my dream world." No, like, I'm making bucks in the real world, okay? And
She was already
so
living her life purpose.
yeah. And so I was like, "This is so weird." Like, I've always been drawn to just, like, I would rather be working than in school. I would be rather be
Yeah.
working than doing whatever else, and so it was just really interesting to look back on life. And so I love astrology in that aspect, but then learning these lessons of, like, what Saturn's trying to teach me is so amazing because it's like, "Oh, I can make those struggles a little bit easier on myself." Like, I'm here for it. Please sign
Yeah,
me up.
I love that.
So,
Love it.
yeah,
Well,
it's been great.
thank you for sitting with me this morning
Yeah,
and
of
filling
course.
in for Elle. And
Yeah,
then we will be back next Tuesday.
yay. See you all next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.